welcome to the Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem podcast.
Uh-huh.
That is all.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No.
We have Chaotic.
My God.
And I'm Silver.
Uh-huh.
We're the hosts.
Yeah. Wow. Never knew.
988 episodes.
Wow. And we didn't even know we were the hosts. So I get to pull I don't want to say 360 because it doesn't come back to. So like a 180. I get to pull a 180 and I get to be in charge today. Do you know what we're talking about today, Silver?
Not at all. You haven't told me.
Good.
You told me absolutely nothing.
Good. Well, as is expected, it is a Greek myth, because I know nothing else and only enjoy Greek. Have you heard of Prometheus?
Prometheus. I have, in fact, heard of him.
What do you know about him?
I have heard of him.
What do you know about him?
Was Prometheus the one that stole fire? Or am I thinking of somebody else?
No, that is Prometheus.
Is he the one that gets his liver ate every day?
Yes.
Okay.
He is. So Prometheus is Prometheus actually stands for forethought. So he's the forethought of him and his brother. I'm gonna butcher it. Epimetheus, who is an afterthought. So he's forethought. His brother Epimetheus is afterthought, and his other brothers are Menodius and Atlas. Those are all pretty famous titans that everybody knows, for the most part. Atlas especially. He's the titan that held the world on his shoulders. He's a Greek titan. He was known for being a clever trickster. So during the war, when the Titans were against the Olympians, he pushed for the Titans to use trickery to defeat the Olympians, and the Titans refused. Because of their refusal, he actually switched to the Olympians' side, which is how he became kind of partnered with them in the creation of mankind. Now, some of the myths say he was the reason that mankind was created. They say that he made them out of clay, but others said that it was Zeus's doing, like the gods doing, and then they gave Prometheus and Epimetheus the job of gifting man. So depending on which story you believe kind of goes whether or not he stole the fire, or so there's two stories. Either he stole the fire from Zeus because Zeus got angry that Prometheus played a joke on him where he served him the fat and bones instead of meat. And when that happened, Zeus got so angry that he took fire back from man and hid it, which is when Prometheus stole it and gave it back. If you believe the idea that he created man, then when he created man, he just gave them fire, and Zeus didn't like that he gave them that much power. So Zeus got angry. So it kind of depends on which story you're going by, but either way, he ends up chained to the rock. So Prometheus gets chained to a rock, and Zeus every single day, sends an eagle to eat his immortal liver. So his liver regrows each night, and the eagle eats it every morning.
That sounds like it'd be painful.
It is. It does.
Now, is it just his liver that's immortal?
All of him's immortal, but it's just the way they phrase it is his immortal liver. Because he's immortal, his liver regrows.
That's kind of handy, at least.
Yeah. And because of Zeus's anger, Zeus also asked Hephaestus to create the first woman, Pandora, who brought illness, war, toil, all kinds of, just to separate mankind from the gods. It's what made man different, and Zeus knew that they would have to pray to him because of what Pandora unleashed on them.
So you're saying we blame Pandora for COVID?
I'm saying Pandora's to blame for a lot. Have you heard of Pandora's box? But I also think I find it funny that in Zeus's version of the stories, he had to unleash a woman for the fall of men. I think that's hilarious to me. Prometheus was mainly worshipped by the Athens area of Greece, because Athens had a lot of the pottery people in it. So they like worshipped him a lot because of the kilns. That's what made their craft. So they worshipped him a lot. They actually held an annual torch race each year in his honor.
See who could steal the fire the fastest.
Or keep it alive and race the fastest. In Greek art, he first appeared in 7th century BCE, and he was straight out of Sparta and Deep Greek pottery. He was almost always pictured being tortured on the rock. A fun fact is Epimetheus, when they were told to gift mankind, Epimetheus literally forgot to gift mankind. He gifted all of the animals. He like gave them wings and fur and stuff, but like forgot that man existed and just didn't gift man. So it's why Prometheus gifted them fire and metal making. He actually is the reason for blacksmithing.
Okay. So you're saying that we're just an afterthought to Epimetheus.
Yes, exactly. I had another fun fact in here somewhere. Oh, his son, Deucalion, is the Greeks' version of Noah's Ark. So his son sailed the seas for like 7 days and 7 nights and saved a bunch of animals and pears and stuff. So I thought that was unique.
Was this before or after he got chained to the rock?
I'm assuming he had kids before he was chained. But that bringing that back to another, Hercules on his mission passed by Prometheus's rock and shot and killed the eagle at some point in time. So he was not always getting his liberate. I'm assuming at some point Prometheus escaped. There's no, not that I found at least, there was no story of his escape or like of his return back to normalcy off of the rock, but Hercules did shoot down the eagle while he was doing his labors.
Did he release him from the chains?
The Hercules lover in me would like to say yes, but this is the same Hercules that was like, hang on, Atlas, I'll help you, and then tricked Atlas into taking the planet again.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we really don't know.
I'm going to say doubtful. Did he shoot the eagle with hydro-coated arrows?
He did shoot it with an arrow. I don't know if it said hydro-coated. I'm gonna assume though, because everything was hydro-coated.
Yeah.
Instead of sharing a story, like you usually find cool stories, I found a poem that Aeschylus, he wrote for, I mean, like hell a long time ago, that is themed around Prometheus and actually I think it's pronounced Io. They were talking about how to get back at Zeus for everything he had done. So I'm going to share that, and then I think we can decide how the fate of Hercules came to be of him shooting down the eagle. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, so each line that I read, when I pause, it goes from Io to Prometheus. So it's them talking back and forth. Okay?
Okay.
In all my far provision, not a bound to all I suffer, ere that Zeus shall fall from being a king. And can it ever be that Zeus shall fall from empire? Thou, methinks, wouldst take some joy to see it. Could I choose, I, who endure such pangs now by that Zeus? Learn from me, therefore the event shall be. By whom shall his imperial sceptred hand be emptied so? Himself shall spoil himself, though his imprudent counsels. How, declare, unless the word bring evil? He shall wed, and in the marriage bond be joined to grief. A heavenly bond? A bride or human? Speak it out, if it be utterable. Why should I say which? It ought not be uttered, verily. Then it is his wife shall tear him from his throne. It is his wife shall bear a son to him, more mighty than the father. From this doom hath he no refuge? No, or ere that I, loosed from these fetters. Ye, but who shall loose thee while Zeus is adverse? One who is born of thee. And that's the whole poem. It's just them talking back and forth about who's going to unthrone or overthrow Zeus in a prophecy untold.
Was that inkling towards Hercules?
I think it is, if Hercules had not become half mortal.
Okay.
I think they got a wrench in their plans there. But regardless, they definitely are talking about Hera. Hera is the only one who can do the things she does to Zeus. And he is forever bound to grief. And Hera constantly punishes him for all of his cheating he does.
Yeah.
And they would have a son stronger than the father. There's really no son stronger in strength matters in actual, because there's a lot of different gods that they birth. But strength wise, just feels like they were talking about Hercules, because Hercules is number one thing.
Yeah. Hercules' number one thing is strength
Mm-hmm.
and hydro-coated arrows. Yeah, Hercules was born from Zeus, but not Hera.
In some.
In some,
There are some lores where they are born from, he is born from them. There's other lores where he went down and had him with a human. What other son do you think? Or being?
the only other person I could think of would be either Hephaestus or Ares. The only two I can think of that were both Hera and Zeus's.
Mm-hmm. And Ares is a good one, but Ares was pretty loyal. As loyal as you
Yeah.
could get in the Greek world.
And Hephaestus had a thing against Hera, but I didn't really hear anything about him against Zeus.
Mm-hmm.
Because he did end up trapping Hera at one point. I don't know if that same trick would have worked on Zeus.
Or maybe, hang on. I didn't think about Perseus too. I know Perseus's thing wasn't strength, but he was pretty mighty.
Wasn't he?
He is not. He is not Poseidon's son.
Not Poseidon's son?
That's just in the books. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just like Hercules, because most of the Hercules lore is, I can never remember her name, Alcmena. It was Zeus and Alcmena that had Hercules, and Disney twisted it towards Hera, obviously. And then, yeah, Perseus was his son.
Could possibly be Perseus as well.
It could still mean Hercules, though. Just because Hera didn't birth him, it doesn't mean that it's not any less Zeus's son.
It's true. Very true.
Still interesting.
The eagle was Zeus's eagle, so I mean, he did kill part of Zeus.
He did.
Or a summon of him? Familiar?
Yeah, when I look up Ares and Prometheus, there's no stories about them. The only story connected to Zeus and Prometheus technically is Hercules.
Does Prometheus show up anywhere else, or just a story of stealing fire?
He shows up like in Io's story. There was something with, so Hera hated Io, turned her into a cow. Okay, Io met Prometheus. Prometheus was like, one day you'll get your human form back. Yeah. It is like, one day you'll get your human form back. And I guess it's actually a far descendant of Eo's that frees Prometheus.
You're going to yell at me.
Why?
Old MacDonald had a farm. E-I-E-I-O.
Oh, no. That's definitely where that derived from.
So at least he did get free.
He does. It took a while, but he gets there. But Io is one of the only people who ran into him after he had been chained. He was one of the greatest assets to the war because of how he thought. Him and Athena actually had like a thing. There's like a small romance between him and Athena.
Interesting. A Titan. And a child of Zeus and only Zeus.
He was the one who like molded them, and she was like the one who breathed life into them. So they have like the same like humanitarian and culture. So they fall kind of in the same net.
Makes sense. They work together a lot.
There's some myths where he like fell in love with her, but obviously we know Athena was obsessed with Poseidon. All right, would you like to move into media?
Yeah.
Do you know of anything he's been in?
Hercules.
Which Hercules?
I believe he was in the animated one, wasn't he?
He was, yes. Hercules even frees him and makes a deal with him in that. He's in a Supernatural episode. The Supernatural episode, anybody wants to go back and watch it, is named Remember the Titans. Very unique.
Remember the Titans. So it's either a episode about the Titans on Greek mythology, or it's a episode about football.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe a little bit of both. The next thing I'm going to name, not necessarily the person or like the character Prometheus, but the ways he's hinted at in multiple different. So the ways in which Prometheus is hinted at in pop culture and media. It is the name for the spaceship in the Alien movie that was directed and produced in 2012, named Prometheus. Wow. They named it that because of the large rock they land on and the nature of the aliens. The Lighthouse, which is a horror movie that it has the same storyline as the myth. Portal 2, the tale of Prometheus is used by the voiceover dialogue to warn the player of the events to come. BioShock's 12th level is called Point Prometheus. In God of War 2, he's actually there. Kratos frees him. Destiny 2, there's an entire pack of, I think it's Promethea or Promethea. Borderlands 3, there's a city named Promethea. Mass Effect, there's a race called Prometheans. Protheans. Persona 2 and 5, there is a character whose final persona is Prometheus. Obviously, The Last Olympian, Rick Riordan's. And it is also the beginning / nod to the Olympic flame torch that gets ran every year, every 4 years at the Olympics.
Okay. Yeah, because he brought fire, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, and they had the torch runs to celebrate him in Athens. And if anybody started the Olympics, you know it was the Greeks.
Probably. Yeah, I can't think of it. You named pretty much all of them I can think of.
They're very cool. There was a lot of really cool nods to him. There's a couple of books and stuff that I didn't name off too, but a lot of them were written, and a lot of the poems and stuff were written like BCE. So they're a little, nobody's gonna understand them as much. All right, Mayhem.
Mayhem.
Where would you put them in our college?
I would say I would put Prometheus in charge of heat, like heating the building.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe a metalworking teacher.
Yeah, I like that. I think I'd also place him. I would maybe put him as a pottery teacher. I know he doesn't necessarily know pottery, but to keep the kilns and stuff going and like watch the students make art, I feel like he'd be appreciative of that.
Yeah, probably anything related to fire, whether he's heating the building, running the furnaces, cooking the food.
And it's a mythology college. Of course there's blacksmithing classes. Full send.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree.
He'll have to fight with Hephaestus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Co-teachers.
They'll just roundhouse each other for who teaches for the day.
Yeah.
I think his mayhem meter for man is low. Feel like he'd be a little trickery. Feel like he'd be somebody that pulled pranks often or thought things were funny. Maybe just a little, water over the door or silly string or, something just menacing, or not menacing. But I feel like if it came to modern day gods, he'd be a little more mischievous. He liked to fuck with gods.
Yes. He liked to pick on people his own size.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. Would you say he's comparable to the first Robin Hood?
Mm-hmm.
Stealing from the rich and giving to the humans?
Yeah.
Could you imagine what he would do if he stole, or imagine what would happen if he stole lightning and gave it to man instead of fire?
Zeus would be pissed.
Oh, yeah. Did it ever say why Zeus never tried to steal fire back from man? Or did it just spread too far?
Technically, in the I think he only got the first time of taking it away in that one story because it was like a punishment. But I think he'd piss off a lot of gods if he constantly took the only thing keeping man alive. Because like Zeus was a bitch about man, but like their prayers to the gods is what fed the gods. Like at some point he had to stop fucking with man. You know what I mean?
I mean, technically he never really stopped fucking with man. It was
you're right. I mean, he just started fucking man instead. So
yeah, it's understandable. If you had to give Prometheus a best friend from another pantheon, who would it be?
Ooh, I don't know. Do you have an idea?
Well, with Prometheus being fire, my initial thought goes to Loki, because Loki liked to play tricks on the other gods.
Yeah, I also thought Loki too because of the trickster thing. I think, but, and this is just theory. Loki's an ice giant. I don't know if they would get along as well as we think.
I mean, Titans are technically giants too.
Yeah, but he's a fire giant. I don't know that they're gonna get along.
They always team up fire and ice together in all the cartoons and animes.
And then it always goes bad. So like
it works so well for Todoroki.
But Loki and him would also be good friends because Loki'd be like, I got this bitch ass big brother that shoots lightning out of his hands. And he'd be like, say no more. Say no more. We're going to fucking set some shit off.
See, that's another example. They both have people who I'm going to say related to, but both have people that they are associated with that they mess with a lot that use lightning. I think who would your choice be then? Oh yeah, you said Loki.
Yeah, I was also thinking. I just didn't want to like trickster associate these two. I was like, I'm trying not to just like profile these tricksters together. Okay.
We really haven't covered many other deities in any of the pantheons. We've covered Anansi, who was in a different pantheon, and then we got the Norse, Greek. Is there a Roman equivalent to Prometheus, or is it just Prometheus?
Prometheus's Roman variant is Prometheus. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The whole you can copy my homework, but change a couple things didn't apply. There's Egyptian pantheon, but I don't think any of those that I can think off of the top of my head. Yeah, I'm still sticking with Loki.
The closest equivalent would be Horus, is what it says.
I don't know much about Horus. I know he's related to the sun.
Oh no, this one says Khnum. Khnum. Although never equated, as far as I know, they are both known to have created humans from clay.
Okay. They're both sculpting friends.
Yeah.
He goes out tricking people with Loki, then he goes and makes pots and people with Khnum.
Yeah.
Anything else? You're leading the episode.
That's it. That's it. We're done. Episode over.
Thank you to our patrons. That is Mondi, Ruby, Nuggies, and Mage. And I don't have any news.
I also do not have news.
Our polls we are putting on our Spotify episodes, I can announce some more of the results of those.
Yes.
Our poll that just closed is, would you try and remove the seal on the Avatar? And we got one vote that said, no, that's a bad idea. And we got two votes on the poll that is closing in 8 days for have you seen or read Twilight?
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's 50-50.
It's what?
It's 50-50.
The 50 who haven't, get good. Get good. You heard me. I didn't stutter.
I do got to answer back about that same question that you had from Mondi. If he has, in fact, watched Twilight.
Majestic.
I guess Chaotic with the outro.
Thank you for listening to the Monsters, Myths, and Mayhem podcast. Silver and Chaotic take you into the depth of the lore and discuss how these legends could affect modern-day society. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or almost any podcast service easiest to you. Dive into the depths of chaos with us every Wednesday, bar Silver and Chaotic not missing their scheduling, and consider joining the podcast Discord or Twitter, following even more insider looks and even some D&D sessions. If you'd like some extra special inside looks or even want to be a guest on the show, consider helping us via Patreon. Your help makes such a big difference to us both. Until next time, Mythics, you never know what kind of mayhem we might get into.